Kruger, what's going on?
Egg, what's up?
Happy Thursday.
Same to you. I apologize to our fans out there. I was sick last week.
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah. I think a couple podcasts ago I was so excited and talking about the good weather and
Yep.
how we had a good streak going. I think it was 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And then we had it missed. So that's okay. We'll start a new streak tonight.
Yep. Probably 10 in a row.
This is so we had done some podcasts like 3 years ago.
Yep.
And we did a few, but this
3 or
is
4 maybe.
This is the 20th
Of this?
podcast of this new session.
Wow.
So big episode number 20 tonight.
Yeah.
This is exciting stuff.
Do we have sponsors yet? No, still working on it.
No, still working on the sponsors. I'm hoping when we get to 25-30, then we'll have some serious sponsors. So a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks. I don't know where you want to start. Do you want to start in Cuba? Do you want to start in March Madness? Do you want to start with the Warriors? Do you want to start with A-Rod?
I'd like to start with. I still am on the Adam LaRoche thing. We never talked about that.
I did not even write this down. Wow, that was going to be a big topic last week, and that thing kind of exploded, huh?
And I was kind of, in a way, I was kind of happy it exploded into this week because I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it so bad on Thursday, and I was worried it was going to go away, but it didn't. It got bigger.
Okay, so just for those of you who may not know, Adam LaRoche, veteran MLB player,
Correct.
signed a 2-year, $20-something million contract with the White Sox going into last season, so
Yep.
prior to the 2015 season. He usually hits you, 25 to 30 home runs, 20
80
to 30.
85 RBIs.
So
yeah.
he's a decent ball player, doesn't really hit for a high average,
Yep.
but he'll knock it out of the ballpark. Had a very short stint with the Red Sox a few years back.
It was only a couple weeks, right?
Couple weeks, yeah. So anyways, mediocre season last year. I thought maybe he would have crossed that 30 home run mark over
Especially
at
at Cellular One. That's a
I was going to say
bandbox.
Comiskey, but
I
yeah,
almost
it's
said
US cellular. Well, I can't say that word. Where the White Sox play.
Yep.
So he basically signs his agreement with the White Sox. Now, was it written into the agreement, or was it a verbal thing?
I believe it was written in the contract that he was allowed to have his son around.
Allowed to have his son around. Perhaps they didn't get into specifics.
I was just going to say, I don't know if that means that he said he's allowed to have him whenever he wanted, how much he wanted, or I meant you can have him around, or you can kind of have him around.
Okay, so last year wasn't a problem, right?
Yep.
In fact, one of the reasons why he signed with the White Sox was because they said it would be okay. His son's 14 years old, was
Correct.
13 at the time, or whatever. So the White Sox even went as far as to give him his own locker
Correct.
in the
Yep.
clubhouse.
Mhm.
So the kid was around practices in the clubhouse. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, spring training. Former GM of the White Sox, Kenny Williams. I don't think he's the GM anymore. He's like the president of
baseball ops,
something,
yeah.
one of those titles. Basically went to LaRoche and said, you can't have your son around anymore. Or just
As much. Cut it back.
As much.
Yeah.
And huge uproar.
Yeah.
Huge uproar. On one side, you have most of the players, Bryce Harper, former teammate with the Nationals, Adam Eaton, Chris Sale, coming out.
Chipper
and
Jones chipped in.
Chipper Jones,
Yep.
support, good for you. Oh, so the big thing, I missed the whole
Yeah.
dagger. He retired.
He retired, and
He
he
retired.
gave up $13 million. this
Right,
year.
so Williams goes to him, says, limit your son being around. LaRoche basically says, screw you, I'm
Yeah.
retiring. That's the whole point of the story. I can't believe I forgot that. So a lot of people are supporting him, saying you did the right thing, family first,
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. That's one side of the story. The other side of the story, people, maybe like somebody sitting across from me with a microphone, saying the kid has no business being in the clubhouse. You don't bring your kids to work. Crosses a line. These people supporting him are going crazy. So it sounds like you might side with them a little bit more. I mean, what's the
Yeah, look,
what do you think?
I'm not a guy. I'm not saying it's a bad thing he's in there all the time. Matter of fact, I think it's great that he's able to do that, and he's in an environment where he can do that, and he's been doing it for a while, so it seems like he's professional enough to have him around yet still get his work in. I mean, he's had a successful career. What has it been 9-10 years? I just agree with the White Sox. He shouldn't be in the clubhouse all
You
the
agree
time.
with the White
I
Sox?
do. He shouldn't be in the clubhouse all the time.
Okay.
He shouldn't be in there as much as it seems like he is.
So I will play devil's advocate, and because you and I disagree on this.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we don't disagree, but I think the point.
I think what you had kind of said is the point is they allowed him to do it, so they should. You know what I'm saying? So if they had at the front said you can't do it, and he signed it, and then he started bringing it around, and we said no, you can't do it, then that's something different. Where they said yeah, he can come in whatever he wants, and then all of a sudden they're like nope, you can't.
So that's the point.
Yeah.
I think we all can agree that your son or your child probably shouldn't be with you
Yep.
as much as this kid was.
Correct.
Right? Because it is a clubhouse thing. People, I mean, grown men are walking
Well,
out
here's one of the
naked.
things I said. I'm not necessarily concerned about that. You know, you've got Adam LaRoche, who's 35, 30 something, at a different stage in his life, married, family, kids. You know, I think he's got multiple kids. But then you have, you know, someone that's 22, 23, 24 that's vulgar, you know, spoke like we used to spoke, goes out every night, you know, which is perfectly fine. They're young, single, you know. One, do you want your kid around that? Two, if you're that guy, isn't it awkward that he's in the clubhouse all the time?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I could jump on the other side and say, well, maybe having the kid around forces them to act more mature,
Yeah.
and to be more professional, and not to act as rowdy.
I guess I just look at, and obviously it's younger when you're in college, just some of the things we did and talked about in the locker room. It's just not appropriate for someone like. The point is so some of those guys are more college kids than they are grown men and adults that have families and kids, and, you know.
So, a couple things you brought up and asked, or Jen actually asked you, doesn't this kid go to school? Which was a valid question.
I didn't want to ask it. I didn't want to say it and make it sound like that he's an idiot and he doesn't go to school. I mean, they've got plenty of money. He's probably homeschooled.
He's
but
homeschooled.
Just like, at some point, did you say, doesn't this kid go to school or have some friends or like do something, go to their buddy's house?
So here's the thing. I'm against people. I think the White Sox made. So I think there's a lot of things going on here.
Yep.
So for one, the White Sox, he signed there.
Yep.
It was okay. They said it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
They let it happen for a year.
Yeah.
And then they all of a sudden
like,
said,
this isn't okay.
no, it's not okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just don't think that's right. Now, a lot of the players are coming to back LaRoche.
Correct.
And I don't think it's necessarily because they are on his side.
Yeah.
I think it's Adam Eaton. I think it's Chris Sale. I think it's these guys who don't like Ken Williams.
Well, the problem is for people that don't follow baseball is Kenny Williams he's not going to sit there and rub your back and tell you it's, you know, it's okay, you had a down year. He's going to say, yeah, you sucked last year. Yeah. He's a no BS. You know, he's always been very outgoing. So he's not going to say, all right, we're going to find a common ground. He's going to say, yeah, we don't want him around anymore. You know what I'm saying?
So why did he go to him and say that?
Well, there's been reports now that some of the players complained about him being in the locker room so much. If you ask me, well, you hit 205 with 15 home runs and 40 RBIs last year. Not good enough.
I know, but
Yeah.
you don't, like, what if
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's why I think that starts it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't, if the kid's been with him all over, because before
Yeah,
Washington, was he with Pittsburgh, and he was with what? I can't remember where else.
Cincinnati. No, Atlanta, right?
Atlanta. I
Yeah.
mean, he put up.
He's been around. He's been around.
I just don't think it's like that. I don't think it's like we told you could. You sucked last year.
Yeah.
So we're taking it away from you. I don't think that's.
I think clearly some people complained about it. Whether it be players, whether it be the manager, hitting coach, coaches,
Yeah.
you know, staff.
Jose Abreu.
Yeah, could have been.
I mean, besides Chris Sale, Adam Eaton, who are the players on that team that could go to management?
Yeah.
Who had some kind of oomph
Yeah.
and say, "Get this kid out of here." It's not going to be Gordon Beckham. I don't think he's still on the White Sox.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the right fielder who can't stay in the majors and
Yeah.
he's bouncing back to the minors. You know, it's probably not Todd Frazier.
Yeah. He just got there.
It's Jose Abreu.
Yeah.
Zero doubt in my mind, Jose Abreu. Nobody else on that team has enough credibility to strong arm Williams to get him to do that.
One of the bigger issues I have too is they let it go on for Chris Sale was complaining about it for days. Dude, you got to get over it.
No, but he doesn't have. Okay, so here's the thing. Like I don't. Okay, so the Chris Sale thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't. It's not. It's him opening up a can on Ken Williams.
Yep.
Because of the way they've sucked, and Chris Sale's the best player on the White Sox.
Correct.
Better than Abreu, right?
Absolutely.
More valuable.
Yep.
And he's in the prime of his career almost,
Yeah.
pretty much. And he's been relatively healthy,
Yep.
and they've been terrible.
Yeah.
So I think I think as much as Chris Sale may agree with LaRoche, I think this was an opportunity for him to open up on Williams and on the team and on the management.
Yep.
And let his frustrations out.
Well, let me play a little devil's advocate on you. And this is I read something about this, right? So Eric Blanchard, right, makes decent money, but you're certainly not in a position where you're retiring at the end of your 30s, right? You know, we were just talking about your new job off air, right? And there's flexible hours in regards to when you can get in. A year from now, your boss says, "No, I want you in every Monday and Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m." What do you do?
But you're okay. So I'm not sure. What's your point?
I guess the point is it's not and this is what for your boss to tell you something, to do something different, and then just say, I'm going to retire. It's not a position that many people can actually be in. It's not realistic.
Okay. Well, I kind of did it with my last job.
Yeah.
The guy told me to F off, and I F'd off.
Yeah.
Because I was in a position where I could.
You're a lot stronger person than I am.
Well, I just the way, and I texted you too, where to answer your question, I'd probably tell him to F off and see you later. But I threw it back at you through text message saying, well, what if Scott told you couldn't bring
Paisley around.
But my problem with that is we're trying to compare our normal life and jobs to somebody like baseball. Yes, it's a job. You wake up, you go to work. Work is baseball.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not a real job. It's not.
You're right.
It's
you're
not
right.
the 9 to 5. It's not the office. It's a game.
And look, Adam LaRoche, God bless him, he had the ability where he could do that, where he could give up $13 million, and he decided to pick his family above the game, which is fine. On a more of maybe a kidding, if I'm his kid, I'm going up to him and saying, hey, look, you have the coolest job in the world. You go continue to play. You don't have to worry about me being around that much. I'll be fine.
Now, it's kind of funny, though, too, because why not ask for a trade?
Maybe he was ready.
Yeah?
His contract was up, so maybe he was retiring at the end of the year. He was just like, screw it.
LaRoche always struck me as the type of guy who was just kind of there.
Never really like.
He does. I'm sure he obviously loved playing. He made a lot of money. He was decent, but he always struck me as the type of guy that he never really showed any emotion.
Yeah.
I can't remember him giving a fist bump.
Yeah.
Or even smiling. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
But that big story I haven't heard anymore. Is he officially retired or what?
As far as I know, yeah, officially retired.
Because I'm wondering if maybe if he did have a semi-productive season, or if a team felt like he could produce for him, why hasn't they called?
You telling me that there's not a team that hasn't called his agent, been like, hey, is he really serious about retiring? Could he do one more year?
Because
Absolutely.
I would say if that's the case, then they probably would have worked out a deal.
Yeah.
Although he is old, like what? You said $13 million?
Yeah, which he's not going to get now.
What was he? He was a part of some funky trade with the Sox, where
He was part of the Victor Martinez deal.
He was, but who ended up playing first base? It was that lefty. Remember they brought in another first baseman? I want to say Casey.
No, that was the year before, Sean Casey.
No, not Sean Casey. I want to say Casey Kochman, but I think I'm making that name up.
It might be right. Yeah, I know you're. Yeah, he was only in Boston for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember I think he might have hit a home run.
Yeah.
All right. So any other thoughts on that?
No.
Baseball's gearing up to stay on the baseball train. future Hall of Famer Alex Rodriguez
I can't believe he announces retirement.
announces
in 2
his
years.
retirement after the 2017 season. So I was like, you know what? I was like, he was probably misquoted. Probably.
Nope. He
No, he like
announced-
legit announced his retirement for
yep.
not after this season.
It's like me saying, "Yup, at 65, I will retire." Count it down.
I mean, he may not. So some interesting facts about A-Rod. Turns 41 in July.
Yep.
So that means next July he would turn 42. Okay, and then also he says today that maybe he won't retire because when his contract with the Yankees is this year, next year, and he's done.
Yep.
He's 75 home runs shy of Bonds.
It'd be tough, but
So doing some math, you hit what 25 homers this year, 25.
yeah.
You were gonna have to play into that 2018.
Yep.
So you're 43 years old, hanging around to break the all-time home run record. Granted, if you manage to stay healthy at the DH position this year, next.
And he struggled at the second half of the year. He kind of came out and played well, and everyone was on him, but he struggled.
So I'm reading quotes with A-Rod today, and he said how he doesn't know. Maybe he could see himself playing past 2017. Said something about how it's the most fun he's been having in years, and that the wind is against his back, and it's no longer coming directly at him.
Only
Some
him would have
kind
a
of
quote
weird
like
quote.
that.
And all I can think about is don't try and play the victim here.
Yeah.
You're the one who created the whole A-Rod,
yes.
the
aura.
Rodriguez mess.
Yeah.
You are the one that did it to yourself. The media didn't do it. Players didn't do it. It's all you, man.
Yep.
So don't all of a sudden turn this around into like a woe is me. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you're not on Instagram or if you are on Instagram, go check out his feed and the pictures he posts and the comments he writes. He's 110% on a mission to try and restore his image just so he can get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I will be very disappointed if he gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because to me, he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not. He cheated once. He cheated twice.
He's one of the faces of the steroid era.
He is the
Yeah.
star, and it's just, and to do it in the way he did it, and I also saw another interesting take, and let me know what you think. You think this is his way of sticking it to the Yankees? Because the Yankees don't need him. The Yankees would love it if he walked out the door tomorrow
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, I have another theory too. Can I get to the other theory?"
Sure.
Derek Jeter hasn't come back yet and been real involved with the Yankees.
Nope.
You think he's waiting for A-Rod to leave?
I saw Derek Jeter for the first time at a baseball event down in Cuba.
He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked big, actually.
Yeah.
Obama's small though, so maybe he just looked big because he was next to Obama. But, because Jeter is the face of the Yankees. I mean, pretty much Derek Jeter is the modern day Yankee
Yep.
for us.
Exactly.
What, 5 championship rings?
Yeah.
I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer in my book.
Easily. Yep.
But he retires, and I understand he retired, and he's away from the game, and he made a few comments while he was in Cuba at that game saying it's just a little funny putting on a uniform right now when you're not going to go play. But a part of me is like, creepy A-Rod.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeter's gone. I'm going to be I'm going to be like the
Mr.
Yankee.
Yankee.
Yeah, and it's just like it's so awkward.
Yeah.
That team is so awkward. Jacoby Ellsbury in center.
Did you see
A-Rod at DH? It's so weird.
Joe Girardi was doing an in-game interview saying one of the keys to the game to the success of the season was Jacoby Ellsbury staying healthy. The next pitch he got hit in the hand and had to get X-rays. I didn't hear anything, so I think he was okay. But
I think they came back negative.
Yeah, it's just funny how that happened.
If your seasons are a lot dependent on Jacoby staying healthy, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's like the Red Sox season depending on Buchholz staying healthy.
Oof.
That's not going to work.
Nope, not at all.
So A-Rod cracked me up. A-Rod's in that category with LeBron and with like RG3 and Cam Newton. No. I would put LeBron, A-Rod, Peyton Manning.
Yep.
They're all in the same category, like kind of that just weird,
Yeah.
really worried about your brand type of thing going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so sticking on baseball too, let's talk hometown team here. Little injuries popping up here and there. Some big ones too.
Yes.
So Carson Smith, getting his name right,
Yep.
traded to the Sox from the Mariners in the Wade Miley deal. Decent little arm out of the bullpen. Closed a few games for him last year. Was going to be their big setup guy. Funky delivery.
Yep.
Kind of 3/4
Down
sidearm.
here, Yep.
Down here, like, what, waist almost.
Yeah.
And he threw a pitch and left
Tightness
the game.
in his forearm.
Tightness in your forearm, which if you're a baseball guy or baseball
He's,
person.
Tommy John at some point.
Yeah, you're that's the precursor to Tommy John.
Yeah.
And they did all the tests and said he has a flexor strain or something, which sounds
Crazy.
crazy. So he's going to start the season on the DL. You know, in my mind, he's gone. See you later. He'll shut it down for 2 months.
Yep.
Start to ramp it back up,
And
make
then
one
blow
or
it
two
out.
minor
Yeah.
leagues appearances, and then, okay, Carson Smith is going to have some surgery. Okay, fine, no problem. If Carson Smith goes down, you still have Koji Uehara.
One of your strengths.
Former
your bullpen.
closers. Yeah, it doesn't throw super hard. What, early 40s, just
Yep.
turned 40, 41. But, hey, what the heck? Coming off a broken wrist, he's healthy, he's good, rested.
He was good last year until he got hurt too.
Okay, he's only made 2 appearances in spring training. John Farrell comes out yesterday and says, well, you know, he's pretty stiff. His elbow has a hard time loosening up or
Yeah.
something. So, you know, not a good sign.
Nope.
So you go from, you know, got a really good closer, one of the best in the game, one of the hardest throwing closers in the game, Craig Kimbrell. You know, got to get to him. And I don't see the starting rotation except for Price going more than 6 innings.
Yeah.
So Matt Barnes has thrown okay this spring.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, are you worried? Are you panicked as a Sox fan? The bullpen's starting to fall apart before we even get into April?
Well, not only that, you've got Eduardo Rodriguez is most likely going to start the year on the DL.
Yep.
You know, Porcello's looked terrible this spring.
He defines the
Pitching to
phrase
contact.
pitch to contact.
Yeah, sometimes a little too hard.
You
of
gotta, yeah,
contact.
you're like, as a coach, you're like, listen, I know I told you, but you got to miss a barrel.
Pablo got hurt the other day. Yeah, it's concerning.
Now, Pablo,
Bent
back
over
issues.
to feel the ground wall and hurt his back. Yeah.
I mean, it's his weight, right? I'm carrying extra weight right now, and I can tell you from just the last few months, my lower back,
Yeah.
my back kills me. You know, I don't do abs, I don't do any core exercises.
Yeah.
I still can't get over because I heard that today, and that he had the lower back or the back injury or whatever it is. And I just thought back to it, and we named a podcast after it. But when they came out and said he was 17%,
yeah.
there's no way. I challenge him. There's no way he's under 40% body fat.
He is huge.
He's so fat.
Yeah.
He's so fat. That's such a bad contract. He's making Hanley Ramirez look good at first,
Yep.
which he actually has been doing okay at first.
He's all right, and he's been swinging it well.
Get me to the All-Star break with Hanley, and I'll be happy. You know,
It's concerning. You know, you've got some little things going on. You know, and some guys. You know, you got, obviously everyone wants to talk about Travis Shaw because he's hitting about 700 right now. But it's just there's a lot of. I mean, Pedroia hasn't swung it well this spring.
there's too many question marks for me
Yeah.
with this Red Sox team, and I'm not ready to go all in on them. The other thing that cracks me up, Nick Cafardo of the Globe wrote a column the other day. I think it might have been Sunday earlier this week about the Red Sox and trade rumors swirling. Why do people think, like, Carlos Carrasco's name was thrown out there?
Yep.
Sonny Gray's name was thrown out there. Why do people think the Red Sox can get whoever they want? Is
I
it
think
because
people-
of the prospects?
I think first of all, I've said for a while I think they overrate their prospects.
Okay.
Who just blows you away as a prospect right now?
Well, you don't.
So you're not going to
Mookie
trade
and Jackie are.
You're not going to trade Mookie or Xander unless it's like an amazing deal. Jackie doesn't. He's not,
Jackie's a tremendous. He's going to play center field.
yeah, but he's
Mookie's an above-average out center fielder, and he's getting moved to right field, which I don't
Yeah.
mind. Like, you could have either or, but
Yeah.
Jackie's a very strong center fielder. Which
I
is,
think people forget that on the other end, the other team has to want the players. People just assume, oh, you got a ton of prospects, oh, anyone will take them.
Yeah.
Well, some guys rate different guys different ways. Some guys don't like certain players. Some guys like other players more. I think they also overrate that how bad they just look at a bad team and they say, "Oh, they're going to rebuild and they need to drop everything." Well, that's not necessarily the case.
Would you trade? Would you swap bad contracts? Would you take maybe Matt Kemp? He's still with the Padres, right?
Yes.
Would you maybe go get Matt Kemp and James Shields? And would you send them like Porcello and Castillo?
I would. Yes and no. I would. Oh, I was just going to say I would trade a bad contract to. I wouldn't do it in a place of strength like an outfield. Like I wouldn't trade for an outfield bad contract. But
Kemp, if you got
no,
rid
my
of
point
Castillo,
is you threw Castillo in there. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you're just going to trade like a Hanley for a Kemp, it doesn't make sense to me because you're trading.
yeah, right. I wouldn't move Hanley. I just Kemp in left field intrigues me, and I don't know his contract situation. I think it might be 4 and 80
I was
or
gonna
something.
Say he's got a ton of money left.
But I would rather have Kemp in left field than Castillo. So right, there's no real. I mean, Betts has got a little pop. Jackie,
Jackie doesn't have any pop.
he showed a little pop
Yeah.
last year for whatever reason.
I would be more apt to trade for a bad pitching contract, like a
Shields?
James Shields, because I feel like you can never have too many arms. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to. Okay, I guess this is a bit. I don't want to have like trade for a really bad contract and have him be a fourth outfielder. But I'll trade for a really bad contract and make him my 4 or 5 starter. You know?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to like put I guess team is just. I feel like Dombrowski has already put his stamp on it a little bit,
Yep.
but I think they got to get rid of Farrell, and I think they got to get rid of Pablo or Hanley.
Yep.
And then they also like Castillo's just kind of. I can't get a read on that guy. He's like shown signs,
He's been
but
hurt a little this spring too.
yeah. So I mean, this team is. Pedroia's at. I mean, can you move Pedroia? Would you move Pedroia?
He's got a fairly.
Catching. Blake Swihart, is he going to be your Veritek?
What about Vasquez? I mean,
Can Vasquez throw down the second without his arm falling off?
his process is taking a lot longer than usual.
So here's a lot of question marks, and I haven't been following baseball enough this spring to really get a temperature check on the other teams.
Yep.
I've seen a few games here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what other teams are doing right now, if they're in mess, if they're in flux. I saw Cespedes. Did you see Cespedes
Today
play
when-
that double
yeah.
into a home run?
I was reading. So I was, I was reading an article today that said, I guess in New York they've banned chewing tobacco at the stadiums.
Yes.
Citi
Boston.
Field, and
New
they've
York,
done it-
Boston, Chicago.
Yeah, and
Somewhere else.
so there's some of the players are against it obviously because they do it, but one of the articles read that you can find Yoenis Cespedes smoking a cigarette at the field all the time.
Shut up.
And I was like, it seems so weird.
That's so. What drives me nuts about Cespedes is when he throws the ball back into the infield.
like-
he throws it like softball,
Yeah.
like pitcher, like underhand, and he did that today.
Yep.
After the ump went, so basically a guy, I don't even know who they were playing, spring training. Cespedes is playing center field. Harvey was on the mound.
Have they not learned that he's not? I don't get it.
Guy rockets a ball to center, takes a funny bounce, almost looks like it bounces up inside the fence.
Yep.
But it doesn't. Like, it's in the ballpark.
There's a good foot. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's underneath the padding up against the wall, and Cespedes just throws his hands up,
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, it's ground rule double. I can't find it. I can't play it." And the player keeps running around. The umpire runs out, and he's like, "No!" Like he reached down and
Yeah.
pushed it out.
Yeah.
But then Cespedes grabbed it and flipped it underhand, and I'm
Yeah.
just as a pitcher, oh boy, like
Thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, that drives me nuts. And yeah, Cespedes seems like a weird cat. I think he's starting to show. I think he's comfortable in New York.
Yeah.
And he's starting to show
Show
his
that,
true
yeah.
self. So now it makes sense that he went from Oakland to Boston to Detroit
yeah.
to now to New York. So, and what, he only signed he signed a
He signed a 3-year deal with an opt-out after this year. So really it's a 1-year deal. You know he's going to opt out. Although he keeps doing stuff like that, he won't.
Yeah, no one's going to want to pay him. So, any other talks or thoughts or hot takes on baseball?
No, I think next Thursday we should do our previews.
Ooh, yes.
Next Thursday will be the last Thursday before opening day. March 31st, circle your calendars.
Oh, that we might have to stretch that to a 90-minute edition, special baseball tonight edition. I got to do some research on fantasy baseball. Get ready for a draft. So
When's your
I'll be ready.
draft?
It was supposed to be this. It was supposed to be last weekend. Then we were going to do it this weekend, but now it got pushed back to I think next Friday.
Easter sneaks up on you this year with it being in March.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Easter does. It does sneak up. So, all right. So baseball. We'll save a lot of baseball talks. Hey, just while I'm at it, while I'm looking at it, this day in history in sports, 1988.
Yep.
Dan Fouts retired.
Really?
Yep. And then it's also Peyton Manning's birthday. He turns 40 years old today.
Today?
Yeah.
40 years
Today's
old.
the 24th, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he turns 40 today. So those are the only two I had. Nothing else was real
Yep.
good. Something about Magic Johnson had like 29 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and Michigan State like a.
Last week I looked it up. Our junior and senior year, March 17th, we got our asses kicked by Cortland State both years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, glad you brought that up. Good transition. Eastern Connecticut, Big
Yep.
L's current team, 8-3, and
Did
winning.
they lose today?
I went on their website. They're 8-3.
Okay.
As of like 7:30.
Okay.
Winnick or Winnie, however you want to say
Winnie.
it now.
WNE.
Undefeated Florida trip. And,
8-0.
8-0.
We never did that.
No, we did not. We always start off bad. I felt like.
Our
And-
senior year, we went like 4-4, and we were like 1-4 at one point.
Really?
Remember
Yeah,
that? We came out slow.
I kind of feel like we always started slow, but
Yeah.
9-1 to start the season, undefeated in Florida. Their only loss came at home to somebody I didn't even check, but both teams off to a hot start.
Yeah.
I didn't see if they were ranked regionally or.
Both of them were. Winnick was like 3, and Eastern was 4,
Really?
5, or yeah.
They don't play each other this year.
Really?
I don't
No?
think. I thought I looked at I always see if they're
They're
coming
in the
locally.
area.
And the other thing I wanted to say too was let's talk a little basketball. I was at the gym this morning, and they got the bunch of all the TVs, and I'm still boycotting ESPN
yeah.
and Sports Center. Like, I'll watch it a little bit. It's on at the gym. I hate the new format. It's turned into entertainment tonight.
It's funny. I turned it on. This was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They started this format,
Yeah,
and it's even worse. What time you go to the gym at?
8 to 10.
So if you get it before 9, it's the worst. It's not even highlights. It's like Twitter, and it's terrible. I can't even watch it.
They're turning into E and WWE
Yep.
and Entertainment Tonight. They're like MTV. How MTV got away from music.
Yep.
ESPN's getting away from
sports.
which is why you're ESPN. But they were showing highlights with the old school Sports Center format.
Yep.
From 96 or 97. Well, 96. Was it 95, 96 Bulls?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Okay, so 96.
Yep.
And the Bulls lost to the Raptors 109 to 108.
Yep.
But they were showing Jordan. I tell you, man, maybe it's because the nets were shorter, the rims, the camera angle. Jordan, they probably showed him hit 5 or 6 mid-range jumpers.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about like wide open, nobody in your face like you
Yep.
have today. I'm talking like shake and bake, turn around, fade away. Just the way Jordan's ball went in the hoop and
Yeah.
through the net. I've never seen anything like it.
Yep.
I'm proclaiming him the greatest of all time. I don't care. I understand Bill Russell, the championships, Kareem, Will. I get all that. But Jordan is
I always
basketball.
felt like he didn't put arc on it. He had such good elevation; it was like on a line.
I just go
Yeah.
watch highlights of Michael Jordan, and I just when he was a phenomenal. He wasn't old. Like, I hate to say it, but LeBron should be overpowering people and doing what he's doing because he's so GD big.
Yeah.
Jordan was 6'6" and whatever. No,
Yeah.
wasn't huge, but he was just an athlete, and he wanted the competitive drive. Is just something you're never going to
So
see.
they said they lost.
They lost 109 to 108 to the Raptors. I thought John Starks was on the Raptors. Did he finish his career with the Raptors?
When was the Raptors' first year?
Okay, I don't remember.
It couldn't have been much more than 96.
I thought it was the Raptors.
I'm just saying that wasn't their
Maybe it wasn't the Raptors. I again, it was from afar. I thought it was the Raptors, but I thought I saw John Starks on the team celebrating. But it was funny because in the statistics or the graph, it said the team. I'm pretty sure it was the Raptors finished 41, or they were 41 and a half games behind the Bulls at the time of that game being played, which is kind of funny. So I bring up the competitive drive in Jordan, which just makes him the greatest of all time. And then you got two guys. One guy is in the league now, LeBron James.
Yep.
And you got the other guy, Ben Simmons, right, coming out of LSU. Let's start with LeBron James. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to talk about him because he's just annoying me. I feel like the attention isn't on him.
The attention, he wants attention so bad.
Yeah.
He will do anything for it.
He's borderline psychotic.
Yep, absolutely.
He hasn't murdered anybody.
Nope.
Doesn't do drugs. For all we know, he doesn't cheat on his wife.
Yep.
He is just a mental midget who's never been told no.
Yep.
And he is the perfect definition of how social media has a negative impact
on all of us.
on all of us.
Yeah.
It's like what he does on Instagram, what he does on Twitter. It's like he doesn't, in his mind, it's not real. Like, I don't know if he doesn't, like, he knows everyone can see it, but then he in his mind, I feel like he's like, well, it was Twitter.
Yeah.
So, so when a reporter asks him about something that happened on Twitter, LeBron looks at this guy.
Yep.
Like, first of all, if I'm a reporter in a locker room and a guy ever looked at me like that, I'd say, see you later.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell copiers. Hey,
Yeah.
see you later. I'm going to bag groceries. I'm done with these athletes. Because they're so like self-centered and just rude and disrespectful. But the guy, he unfollowed the team he plays for, the Cleveland Cavaliers. He unfollows them on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
why?
Why would you do that?
Who notices that?
Who notices that? And then, but why would you do that? Because somebody's going to notice it.
Yeah.
So you don't just do that because he said he wanted to focus on getting ready for the playoffs.
Playoff push. I'm in my mode.
So is he unfollowing everybody? Or is he just so? And then, but the reporter asked the question. He looks at the reporter like, "You're an idiot."
Yep.
He says, "Next question." Then you hear a voice in the locker room next to him say, "Next question."
Yeah.
He's got like a PR woman with him everywhere he goes.
Why?
Like you're in the locker room after a game. Reporters are asking you questions, and you've got a PR woman right next to you, like monitoring the questions.
That's not valid. That's not a valid question.
That's insane to me. So I'm tired of these people, not even just LeBron, just people and athletes and celebrities not taking account, or just people in general.
Yeah.
Especially, and it's nothing new, but you go on social media and you put something out there, you do something, and then there's no accountability. Right? That's the problem with social media.
Yeah.
There's no accountability. You think you can put whatever you want out there.
And you just do it.
And there are no repercussions, and you don't have to answer to it. And I'm sorry, when you're in a position like LeBron is, you've got to answer to that kind of stuff. You have to be accountable, and you have to take the time to explain yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have to. You're different than everyone else. You're not a normal human.
Yeah.
You make a ton of money. You're a superb athlete. You have a lot of fans. You got to explain yourself. And then he comes out in an article for Bleacher Report, I think it was.
Yep.
Or somebody, maybe not Bleacher Report, and basically says that he would love to play with what he calls the Brotherhood before he retires.
That's the biggest loser thing I've heard.
LeBron, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
Calling themselves the Brotherhood. Whatever. Says, yeah, they've talked about it, and yeah, they'd love to do it, and he would take a pay cut to do it. What is he doing? And he said not only before he retires, but maybe sooner.
Yeah.
And the way he ended the interview and the way the article ended was kind of him walking away, giving a little like smirk look at the guy, saying, it could happen.
This might happen. Yeah.
If you're Cleveland, aren't you like you're bending over backwards to let, it's almost like he's doing them a favor, but now he's just gonna bolt anyways.
Yeah.
So
my first thought when I read that was, where do they go? All four of them are on different teams. Where do they?
Well, my first see, I'm thinking they all go to L.A. the Clippers.
Yeah.
Because of Doc.
Probably.
Either that or they go to Miami and Doc would go there in a second.
Yeah.
All those guys went. He's such a follower. It's not even funny, but yeah, I don't know. I just think the guy's a mental midget.
I feel like he just watches his trends on Twitter and, is whatever is on Instagram, and he sees they're low, and everyone's talking about Steph or
Yes.
talking about Carmelo or talking
Or
about
a terrorist attack. And he's like,
yeah.
oh, I'm guys, presidential election coming up.
Yep.
Don't forget about LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's in the house.
LeBron's in the house, guys. Look at me. Okay, so the other guy, Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
So he signs with LeBron's agency.
of course. Why not?
Yeah, Ben Simmons. So here are the three things of Ben Simmons. He's from more than three things. He's from Australia, comes to the U.S. for high school, goes to LSU for 1 year because
Correct.
you have to play 1 year of college ball.
Yep.
His team LSU is worse this year than they were last year without him.
Were they really?
Yes, worse record. They do not make the NCAA tournament.
Correct.
They lose by 40-something points in the conference tournament.
I watched that game, and it was worse than that.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
His GPA is under 2. He didn't go to any classes.
Yep.
Doesn't even qualify academically to win the John Wooden Award for like top basketball player because they factor in grades. So he doesn't even qualify for that. So the third thing, and you told me this, LSU gets invited or is asked to play in the NIT
Yep.
for all the good college basketball teams that don't make it to the NCAA tournament, which is kind of an oxymoron, not good teams.
Well, I mean, you got teams. I haven't watched any of them, but like Florida's in it, Georgia Tech's in it. So I mean, like, you
It's
still
still
have like
decent.
Power 5 conference teams.
So basically, LSU did not play in the NIT tournament because
Correct.
Ben Simmons
That's
said,
something I read. He said, "I'm not playing. I don't want to get hurt."
doesn't want to get hurt, doesn't want to ruin his brand.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, he goes number 1 overall in the draft.
Which he still probably will.
Fine. Philly, not Brooklyn, but Philly or Lakers,
LA, yeah.
go take him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That guy's soft as tissue paper. To me,
Don't you feel like it's a bad position because you really have to take him because the talent's there, but this could be really bad. You know what I'm saying?
it's something about
Like if you were to skip over him and he became a stud, you couldn't live that
Well,
down.
do you think he's going to be a good ball player?
I do.
Do you think he's going to be like a Carmelo Anthony, or do you think he's going to be a Dwayne Wade? Do you think he's going to
No.
be a Carmelo Anthony?
No.
So not even that good. And I don't.
Well,
think
I mean
Carmelo's-
that's we can argue Carmelo, but like Dwayne Wade's a Hall of Famer.
Okay. Do you think he's going to be a? I don't think of somebody.
All right, this is a weird one. Is he going to be Tayshaun Prince?
No.
Only because he only looks like, he's got that like
Lefty.
long. No, but he's got that like
Yeah.
long gang.
Well, okay. Is he going to be an all-star?
I think he could be. Yeah.
See, I don't. I picture Ben Simmons being a good player on a really bad.
So-
he's going to be like. Is Andrew Wiggins going to be? Like, is Andrew Wiggins ever going to get better to a point where he's the guy? Like, Andrew Wiggins to me is a Jeff Green.
Yep. Okay.
Like, do you ever see Andrew Wiggins taking a team?
I'm really trying to think of a guy that's a really good player on a bad team that compare Ben. I can't think of anyone.
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah. I'm just trying to compare someone like his size and his.
Joe Johnson.
That's a pretty good one.
Simmons I don't think is as big as Joe. Joe Johnson
Yeah.
is like, he's a man. But and the reason why I say best thing to happen would be for Simmons to go number 1 overall because I kind of want the Celtics to hold on to that pick because they're probably going to be a top 5 pick, right?
Right
Brooklyn?
now, I mean, and obviously it's ping pong balls, but if you were just to do their records, it'd be the 4th pick.
Okay, so you have Selden from Kansas who's going to go top 5.
Chris Dunn from Providence.
Chris Dunn, the kid from Oklahoma, Buddy Hield.
Yep.
Good ball player. He went
Yep.
off last weekend to get Oklahoma through. You've got some players out there. I really like that point guard from Kentucky too.
Yep.
Like-
Tyler
I
Eulis.
really like him.
Yep.
Small, but I don't care. That kid's got heart, man. And that kid, I've been following him a little all year, and that guy's a player.
The problem, so I was thinking about this the other day, is how many times with Ben Simmons, so he's probably the best player in college basketball.
See, I don't think he is.
All right, well,
Buddy Hield, I think, is the
okay,
best.
no, I can't. And you can't really disagree with that. But
Yeah.
how many times has the best player not played in the playoffs of any sport? Like
Right.
take like basketball, the best player. You know what I'm saying?
If you're like Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
put Texas on his back.
Yep.
Even Michael Beasley put Kansas State on his back.
All to get
Carmelo,
for
Syracuse.
for him to get into the tournament. The NCAA committee, the CBS, TNT, TBS want Ben Simmons in the tournament.
No, they said no.
No, but the point is
They said no.
Whether we like to admit it or not, their bar is a little lower. Meaning, if they were on the bubble, they're probably going to push him in because they're going to say, "Yeah, we want to get Ben Simmons."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't want to admit that, and we don't want to tell Monmouth and St. Mary's teams that just missed out that they can't go. But that's just the reality.
Yeah.
They couldn't even do that.
Yes.
So UConn, only because I watch UConn, they were on the bubble going into the conference tournament. They were at 20-10.
Yeah.
So if you're 19-11, and you win one game in the conference tournament, you're going to go to the NCAA tournament. Like you guys were really, his team was really bad for him to not go to the tournament. I think that speaks that, and that just concerns me. I that last game they played against Texas A&M, very good team. He just disappeared. You can't, if you're the best player and you're going to be the number 1 overall pick, you can't just disappear. You can have bad games. It's going to happen. We all have bad games, but you can't just disappear.
So, Von Miller.
Who is
Sure.
that next to him? That guy's huge.
I don't know. They so Oklahoma and Texas A&M are playing right now. So
Yep.
I can't remember who Oklahoma played last time. I think it might have been Iowa State or was it
I think you're
Iona
right.
State or Iowa.
I think it was Iowa State.
And Buddy Hield had 7 points in the first half.
Yeah,
And supposedly they were talking trash to him and said, "You're supposed to be the player of the year."
yeah.
And he went off for 29 in the second
Yeah.
half. Now that's rising to the occasion.
Exactly.
That's putting the team on your back. That's who I want.
Just more than anything, an aggressiveness to him.
Yeah.
You know, at least if you're going to go down swinging. You know.
Is it like the Spurs and the Patriots? They win all the time, so the draft picks are never high.
Yeah.
So they have to really do their homework on players and draft the right pieces to the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Character guys, maybe not the most talented guys, but the hardest workers.
Yeah.
And do you think that's where teams are going to go? Because don't you think that the Ben Simmons of the world, I shouldn't say LeBron James, but the Andrew Wiggins, the Okafor from 76ers.
Yep.
Don't you feel like these guys, they know before they even get to college that they're going to be a top 3 draft pick?
Oh yeah.
And they
I
just
mean,
they
if you
just
go on certain websites. There's mock drafts for 2018 and 19. You know.
So it's it's very rare to get a guy with that background
Yeah.
who also has the will to really truly want it.
Yeah.
You know, that once he gets there, the money, the fame, the girls, he's not distracted by any of that.
Yeah.
So don't you almost feel like if you're building a team, wouldn't you rather pick, wouldn't you rather get a Paul Pierce who falls to 10 or 11,
Yeah.
And feel slighted, or Jared Sullinger?
Yep.
And they've got a chip on their shoulder.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather fall 10 to 20, and unless you got that LeBron, or unless you got that Kevin Durant,
That special talent.
that comes once every 5 to
Who came in after Greg Oden, so there's always those guys.
Yeah. I'm curious though. So Brooklyn would be their 4th worst team right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
1 is 76ers, 2 is the Lakers, 3 is the Suns, and then the Nets.
Is Kobe still playing? Is his retirement tour still going on?
I think so.
Oh,
I don't care.
Golden State Warriors 64-7. They're 1 game ahead of the pace. The Bulls were 63-8. They're getting close.
I think they're going to do it.
Now it's at the point where
Yeah.
if you don't do it,
It's disappointment.
that's disappointing.
Yeah. 11 games left? God, man.
71, 11 games left, so they have to go 7-2. Well, that's not good math.
9-2.
9-2.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kruger. So they would finish with they could finish with as many as 75 wins if they ran the table, which will be tough because I think they have the Spurs at least once at home, which
Yeah.
and then they
me look
I
it up.
thought they went to San Antonio again. I almost feel like
I'm not 100% sure.
because they play 4 times, but I don't know. They handed it to the Clippers. You still big on the Clippers or no?
It's funny. I was looking at the standings, and they're creeping closer to Memphis than they are.
I thought they
Thunder.
passed the Thunder, and I was wrong. The Thunder.
They did.
Oh, they did.
But then they've hit. They haven't recently. They've been terrible.
Doc Rivers, man, hot, cold. Oh, big. That's finish on this, or maybe not finish on it. Our man Dwight Howard. Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this?
I use Stickum all the time.
Where is the outrage?
It's
Where is the outrage?
Dwight Howard admits to using Stickum in the middle of the game.
Holy shit! So the Hawks are playing the Rockets.
Yep.
Paul Millsap's at the free throw line, going to shoot a free
He's
throw.
like,
Gets the ball. He's like, it's sticky. He throws it back to the ref.
Yeah. The ref's like rubbing
The ref's rubbing it. Meanwhile, the Rockets head coach grabs 2 cans off the scorer's table
Yeah.
and like cans them to the trainer. Camera catches everything.
Yep.
And come to find out, Dwight Howard openly uses Stickum. He's been using it for years.
He does this. Do it every game.
You have the schedule in front of you?
Yeah. Hold on. I got it right here. All right. So they are home against Dallas, home against Philadelphia, home against the Wizards, at Utah, home against the Celtics, home against Portland. Do they play road games? Home against Minnesota, home against San Antonio, at Memphis, at San Antonio, and then home against Memphis.
So say the road games again, backwards. Spurs.
So the road games, their last road game is at San Antonio, then they're at Memphis, and then at Utah, and the rest are at home.
And they have 7 losses right now?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So look,
So obviously all 7 losses have come on the road.
first Dallas. I mean, so you've got Philadelphia in there. That's a win. Washington in there.
It's a win.
At Utah,
It's a win.
home against Boston.
It's a win.
That's a win.
The Utah might be tough.
Home against Portland.
That might be tough.
Home against the Timberwolves. That's a win.
Win.
Home against San Antonio. That's going to be tough. Well, that's April 7th. Popovich might not bring his team that day.
Leonard just got hurt. Too.
At Memphis, at San Antonio. Those are 2 tough games. And then home against Memphis.
So that San Antonio game on the road,
What if that's for it?
it's gonna be for it.
Yeah.
You know it's gonna work that way. And Popovich isn't.
He's not going to care.
No, I'm gonna say he's gonna care.
Really?
They're gonna treat that like the Super Bowl.
You brought it up. You brought it up last time, and I think this is the best part. Is you said, well, I said, well, if you lose 2 in a row, you say, screw it, we're not going for it. Well, you lose 2 in a row. Now the Spurs are a half game away from you.
Yes, they
They're
are.
60-11.
One other thing, I talked about the Jordan footage. Nobody plays defense nowadays.
Nope.
And I thought it was very apparent when the Warriors played in San Antonio last weekend.
Yeah.
The Warriors were held to 79 points. The Spurs won. And Steph and Clay, I think they were like 2 of...
They were frustrated. Yeah.
Steph only hit 1 3 the whole game.
Yeah.
It's because it's not that the Spurs are like the greatest defensive team of all time.
Yeah.
They just actually play defense. They switch right on screens.
Yep.
They talk to each other, and they play defense. And I think the Warriors, I just think there are a lot of teams that don't play defense. Not
Yeah.
even good defense. They just don't play defense. And I think just the timing is right for these guys, Steph and Clay and the Warriors team. I mean, against the Clippers, what was it, last night? Like the Clippers, like Chris Paul, like he doesn't have his hands up.
Yeah.
If you don't have your hands up, they make that pass and they score before you even know what the hell happened. Like the Warriors were scoring last night before all 5 of the Clippers were back on defense.
Yeah.
But back to the Dwight Howard thing. I mean, there wasn't much made about this.
No, it's like
So
no one's even talked about it since then.
Which is insane to me because it is illegal to use
Stickum.
And the league came out and told him not to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's it. No investigation, no judges, no suspensions, nothing.
No appeals upon appeals.
No appeals upon appeals.
Yeah.
No fines. They just told him to
They
stop.
say, hey, don't do it anymore.
Which is insane to me. And I just think it's really, like, just imagine if it was, say it was LeBron. Right?
he'd probably love it because they get him more.
Yeah, but Dwight Howard's even,
He's a superstar.
so I just, it
I
was,
mean, we could say he's not, but he is.
I can't figure out why that wasn't a bigger story. What am I missing? Like Stickum is they had a guy who's the guy who followed around LeBron his whole career, went to high school with Windhurst.
Windhurst.
They had a segment on TV where Windhurst, whatever his name is, use Stickum, and he was palming a basketball. and this guy's like probably what, 5'10",
Little white guy, yeah.
maybe he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Probably 300 pounds,
Yeah.
like a big dude. But small hand.
Yeah.
Freaking palming a basketball. Looked like he never played basketball a day in his life. He's palming a basketball because of Stickum. And it cracked me up how you're basically the stories and who's what and who gets in trouble and who gets the attention. It all has to do with ESPN and NBC and who wants to talk about what.
It makes you
And
ask the
social
question.
media.
It makes you ask the question, why? Why did the Deflategate become so big? Why?
Because ESPN.
Why did they pick that though?
I honestly, and well, if we go back to one of our podcasts, last year, I said it was all a distraction. The woman beating, the drugs, the murders. I think it was the
so if
NFL's
you- I guess-
way, the
so-
concussions.
Yeah.
It was their way to distract people or try to distract them to get their attention on something else that's blow this way out of proportion.
So if you're, I guess, Mike. So if you're saying it's ESPN or the networks, then what did the Patriots ever do wrong to the networks?
I just think
So if
Bill
you-
Belichick, and I think a lot of ex-players and ex-coaches, general managers work for ESPN now.
Yeah, no, they do.
And I think just a lot of these guys had axes to grind with the Patriots because, listen, do the Patriots push the rule book
Absolutely.
and push the rules, the boundaries? 100%.
And they probably know them better than anyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Did you say off that? Did you see that Harbaugh? Remember the eligible receivers? He proposed that if you are a receiver and you have an ineligible number on, you have to wear a penny.
a what?
A penny, like a vest, like a orange vest to let everyone know that you are eligible.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's classic. Good for them. Oh boy. That's kind of I didn't hear
Yeah.
that. That's funny. What the hell are you gonna do? Stop the game? Put a penny on?
It's a timeout. He's a,
Oh man, I tell you, the NFL. I honest to goodness don't think. I just think Belichick's been around the game too long. He's studied the rule.
Yeah.
And has he taken the time and met with other people and talked to his staff about how they can bend the rules and how it could be interpreted a certain way?
Yep.
100%.
He said, I was watching the show, and they took that eligible thing
Yeah.
from an Auburn LSU game.
Yep.
Auburn, or no, excuse me.
Probably Nick Saban.
Alabama LSU.
Yeah.
Alabama
He steals all the plays.
threw a couple offensive linemen out there, and he said, hey, no matter what, even if you tell someone, if you put a guy out there, even if you tell someone that he's ineligible, it's going to be tough for you just to. So if you throw, like I think it was Vereen was out there, if you throw Vereen out there, and even though you tell him he's ineligible, it's going to be tough for you to not at least think about covering him. Because in the back of your mind, you're saying, all right, something stupid could happen here.
A couple minutes left. Ended on baseball in Cuba.
Yep.
You have any hot takes on that, or what do you think? Well,
I watched it. I think I obviously have no Cuban descent whatsoever. Never been anywhere near Cuba. Been to Miami once. I think people forget about. The Castro family is still reigning.
Fidel
down there.
Castro's still alive.
Fidel
Did not
Castro's still
know that.
alive.
89 years
Yep.
old.
The Castro family is still reigning. Just because we're going down there and playing baseball, and it seems I believe travel is now open down there, where before you really couldn't travel, you can now. It doesn't make it a good place or make them good people. Or you see Obama shaking their hands and stuff, and wanting to do some things with the Cubans. It doesn't make them good people, and I think that's misled with a lot of what's. There's a lot of hate down there for the Castros, and I just feel like you see it, and everyone's shaking hands and hugging, and people forget about that kind of stuff.
Why should I care though? ESPN had a big broadcast, and they were very emotional, and they had a big hoopla. They had Jeter on. Obama was at the game with Castro's cater.
I guess
why is
so.
it
I was
important?
watching some of so the Rays. I can't even remember his name. The Rays let one of their prospects lead off, who is from Cuba, and he was the first player ever to leave Cuba and come back and play in Cuba. First player ever to do it. And my wife's like, well, why don't they come back? I said, because you can't come back. If you come back, you're going to jail.
Get to the Rays?
He
So he left Cuba to
defected.
go to
He
the Rays.
defected. He defected.
Oh, then he came back.
So yeah,
Oh,
so they let
I
him.
see.
So they let him lead off. He came back with the Rays.
Why didn't they arrest him? Can you arrest him?
No, that's part of the like kind of the pack now is that you don't.
Oh, that's interesting.
But that was the point. I was telling my wife. I said, she goes, why couldn't he come back? I said, you can't come back. You leave and you come back and you're arrested and maybe killed.
Yeah.
You're just not. She goes, why? I go, because you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
And I just I heard someone say, well, we still go to Germany. I go, yeah, yes, but Hitler is no longer the leader of Germany.
Yes. Yeah.
So I feel like there's too many good vibes to forget about. The people that family is still in charge. It's good.
Too many bad vibes. Or
Yeah,
good?
like
Yeah.
Fidel Castro is still alive. Think about how many bad things he did. Think about how many good people have died, and Fidel Castro is 90.
Yeah.
He's probably going to live till he's 110. I don't know.
It's fun. That's funny, huh?
Yeah.
That's not funny, but that's weird. That's a weird take. Interesting take. I tried watching that game, and then they're waiting for Obama to get there. So, like, it was supposed to start at 1. First of all, I had my ESPN app,
Yeah.
and I thought it said Rays versus Cubs.
Yep.
So I turned it on. I turned it on, and I said,
Yeah.
Cuba. This is the whole Cuba thing.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to start at 1:30. It didn't start till like 2. And then they had pregame ceremonies, and I was like, I can't take it. So I started watching something else. But, yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever. It would be nice to have baseball back on and,
Yep.
Give me something to fall asleep to at night. But I'll start working on my predictions. Big show next week.
March 31st.
March 31st.
Circle the calendar.
Yeah, great way to end March. We'll focus on baseball, some hot points, some hot takes, who we think's going to win it all, what place the Sox are going to finish in.
First. I don't know.
First to last. Holy crap. It's going to be ugly, man. John Farrell may not make it through May. I would say by June 1st, John Farrell will be fired. So
It's possible.
it is possible. Anything else before we
Do you
sign
think
off?
he changes? Do you think he changes the way he manages,
No.
knowing that?
No, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. No idea. I'm telling you. He'll never get another managerial job again.
Brings in his closer 6 straight games just so he can keep his job.
I'm telling you, man, it is such an awkward, combustible, ignorant clubhouse right now.
Yep.
And ball team, they have just no direction. Are they going young? Are they going old? Are they going? They don't know what way they're going.
Yeah.
And it's just going to come to a head. And I'm not saying the season can't be salvaged, but if it stays the way it's starting, it's going to be a terrible summer of baseball.
Yeah.
And that just sucks. So,
Well,
not to end the podcast on a bad
I was
note.
gonna say you just ruined the vibe a little bit.
I'm just trying to. I don't know. It's just my take. So, but yeah, I guess that's it for now.
All right. We'll
Wait,
talk.
let's say something positive. I don't want to end on negative.
Excited for a new job?
Yes, I am. Yeah,
Okay.
new job starts Monday. Can start to focus on the baby. So
Yep.
it's baby number 2 coming, which will be nice because the last 2 months I've been, worrying about finding a job and kind of forgetting Lee's
Yeah.
pregnant. So we can get back to normal, get to a routine, and I can start buying some stuff. 'cause
Did
I
she
have
get
some money.
sick?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one she is. So, but hopefully she. I don't know how women do it, but I can't eat. Like my back's a little sore, and I'm like, I gotta go lie down. Give me some ice. I'm like,
I need some Advil, please.
yeah. When she even with the sniffles and stuff now, she can't really take any medicine.
Yeah, you're not
so.
supposed to take anything.
But hey, that's a good note.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy Easter. That's a good note.
Happy Easter, happy March, and yeah, we'll
See you
talk
next week.
next Thursday.
All right, buddy.
Later, Crooks.